Brother demanded I move out of his building. Then security called him to the owner's office. I stared at the eviction notice taped to my apartment door, my brother Marcus's signature scrawled across the bottom in his typical aggressive handwriting. This was the third one this week. You have 48 hours to vacate the premises, Marcus announced from behind me, his voice dripping with satisfaction. As the new building manager, I can't have family taking advantage of the system. I carefully removed the notice, folding it precisely before tucking it into my jacket pocket. New building manager. Carter Management appointed me last week. First order of business is clearing out the deadweight. He gestured at my door. That means you, little brother. I nodded slowly, remembering the email I'd received that morning from my real estate division. Interesting. And Carter Management authorized this? Of course they did. I'm their rising star. Marcus puffed up his chest, straightening his off-the-rack suit. They're even talking about making me regional director. Really? When did you meet with them? Yesterday. Mr. Carter himself offered me the position. Said they needed someone with real business sense to clean this place up. I pulled out my phone, typing a quick message. Mr. Carter specifically. That's right. Now pack your stuff. Security will be here tomorrow to escort you out. Right on cue, my phone buzzed with a response. About that security escort. The building's head of security, James Rodriguez, stepped off the elevator. Mr. Thomas, there's a situation requiring your attention in the owner's office. Marcus smirked. I'll handle it. I'm the building manager now. Rodriguez's face remained professionally neutral. I'm sorry, sir. I was addressing your brother. What? Why would they want him? If you'll both follow me, please. The elevator ride to the top floor was silent, tension crackling in the air. Marcus fidgeted with his tie, while I remained still, watching the floor numbers tick upward. The doors opened to reveal not the modest management office Marcus had probably visited, but rather the building's luxurious penthouse suite. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a panoramic view of the city, while original artwork adorned the walls. What is this? Marcus demanded. Where's Mr. Carter? There is no Mr. Carter, I said quietly, walking to the massive desk, dominating the room. Carter Management doesn't exist. What are you talking about? I met with them yesterday. No, you met with actors hired by my HR team to assess your character. A test you spectacularly failed, by the way. I sat down behind the desk, watching realization slowly dawn on my brother's face. Your HR team. Yes, you see, I own this building. Along with about 30 others in the city. Marcus stumbled backward, catching himself on a leather chair. That's impossible. You're a nobody. You work in some tech startup. I founded that tech startup 8 years ago, while you were telling everyone how I was wasting my life with computers. I pulled up some documents on my desk's built-in display. Thomas Technologies. That's me. We're worth just over $4 billion now. But you live in a regular apartment. You take the bus. I live in that apartment because it lets me stay connected to my tenants. I take the bus because it's environmentally responsible. And I let you believe I was struggling because I wanted to see what you'd do with perceived power over me. I gestured at the eviction notices he'd posted. You didn't disappoint. Marcus's face flushed red. This is a joke. Some elaborate prank, Mr. Thomas. Rodriguez interrupted. Should I have his credentials revoked? Please, and have his personal items removed from the management office. You can't do this, Marcus shouted. I quit my job for this position. Actually, you didn't. We checked. You were fired last month for trying to take credit for a colleague's project. Sound familiar? I stood up, walking to the windows. You know what's ironic? I was planning to offer you a real position here. Entry level, sure, but with genuine opportunities for advancement. I thought maybe you'd grown up. I don't need your charity, he spat. Clearly not. What you need is a lesson in humility. I turned back to face him. You're not just fired, Marcus. You're banned from all properties owned by Thomas Holdings. That's most of the luxury buildings in the city, by the way. Where am I supposed to live? That's not my problem anymore. Just like my housing situation wasn't your problem when you tried to evict me. Rodriguez stepped forward. Sir, his office is cleared. Thank you. Please escort my brother out. And Marcus, I called as he was led toward the elevator. Those eviction notices you posted. The paper they're printed on cost more than your monthly salary would have been. Once he was gone, I sank back into my chair, pulling up the building's security feeds. I watched as Marcus was escorted through the lobby, his swagger replaced by defeated slouching. My phone buzzed. A message from our mother. Marcus just called, ranting about you owning buildings. What's going on? I typed back. Family dinner tomorrow. I have some news to share. Then I pulled out the eviction notice from my pocket, placing it in a frame alongside other mementos of my journey. My first business license. The deed to this building. The bus pass I still use daily. Each one a reminder that true success isn't about power over others, but about how you use the power you have. A soft chime announced another visitor. Rodriguez had returned. Sir, your brother is trying to access the building through the parking garage. I smiled slightly. Let him. I want him to see my car collection. Particularly the restored Honda Civic, exactly like the one he refused to help me buy when I was starting out. And after that, we let him discover that his key fob now only accesses the maintenance entrance, where he'll find an entry-level job application waiting. You think he'll take it? Eventually, when he realizes that every luxury building in his price range is owned by his nobody brother. I turned back to the windows, watching the city darken into evening. Sometimes the hardest lessons are the most important ones. The next few hours were spent reviewing actual tenant applications, ensuring that my buildings remained accessible to working families and young entrepreneurs. People like I had been, before success found me. People like Marcus might still become, if he learned from this experience. My phone buzzed again. Mom agreeing to dinner, with a string of confused emojis attached. Rodriguez, I called. Tomorrow night, I'll need the penthouse dining room prepared. It's time my family learned what their struggling son has built. The Honda too, sir. Especially the Honda. Some things are worth more than their price tag. I looked at the framed eviction notice one last time, before heading home to my deliberately modest apartment. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new opportunities to test my brother's character, and perhaps, if he was finally ready to learn, a chance for him to earn his own success. But for now, I had a building to run, tenants to protect, and a family dinner to plan, one that would finally reveal the truth about the brother they thought they knew. The penthouse dining room was set perfectly, each place setting worth more than Marcus's former monthly salary. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a sunset view of the city skyline. Buildings I owned glinting gold in the fading light. Mom arrived first, exactly on time as always. Her eyes widened as Rodriguez escorted her in. Alex, she called out, using my first name. What is all this? Welcome to my actual office, Mom. I stepped out from my private study. We have a lot to discuss. She walked to the windows, taking in the view. Marcus said, but I didn't believe that your unsuccessful younger son owns this building. And that one. I pointed to several prominent structures. And those? How long? 8 years, since that startup you told me to quit because it would never go anywhere. She had the grace to look embarrassed. We were worried about you. No, you were worried about appearances. There's a difference. The elevator chimed again. Dad walked in, followed by my sister Patricia. Their reactions mirrored Mom's. Disbelief followed by dawning realization. Where's Marcus? Patricia asked, smoothing her department store dress. Probably still trying to decide which entrance to use. I said, nodding to Rodriguez. Show them, please. Rodriguez activated the wall screens, displaying security feeds. Marcus was indeed circling the building, testing his defunct key fob at various doors. Should we wait for him? Mom asked. He'll be here soon. I left him one working entrance, through the maintenance department. Dad frowned. This feels cruel, Alex. Cruel, like telling me I was wasting my life. Like refusing to co-sign my first business loan. Or perhaps like Marcus trying to evict me from my own building. He didn't know. Exactly. He didn't know, because none of you ever bothered to ask. You were too busy pushing him forward and pushing me aside. The elevator chimed again. Marcus trudged in, his suit wrinkled from his attempts to enter the building. Glad you could join us, I said calmly. Please everyone, sit. They took their places at the massive table, Marcus noticeably choosing the seat farthest from me. First course, I announced as servers appeared with plates. Caviar from the same supplier you mocked me for working with during college, Patricia. Remember, when I was wasting times coordinating luxury food deliveries? Patricia stared at her plate. That company, you own it now, along with most of their competitors. Amazing what you can acquire with $4 billion in tech revenue. $4 billion, Dad choked on his wine. Currently, it fluctuates. I nodded to the servers for the next course. Tomorrow it might be $5 billion, depending on how the market receives our new AI healthcare system. The one on the news? Mom asked. That's your company, Thomas Technologies. Yes, the same company you told me would never succeed because computers are just a fad. Marcus pushed his plate away. Why are we here? To rub our faces in your success. No, brother. You're here to learn something about judgment and consequences. I pressed a button, and the wall screens changed to display financial documents. These are the mortgage notes for every property our extended family owns. I've spent the last 5 years quietly buying them all. The color drained from their faces. That includes your condo, Patricia. The summer house you remortgaged, Mom and Dad. And Marcus, that apartment you just signed a lease for. I own that building too. You're going to evict us? Marcus asked, his voice shaking. No, unlike you, I don't use property ownership as a weapon. But things are going to change. What do you want? Dad demanded. Accountability. Starting with you, Dad. That construction company you're running into the ground. It's now a subsidiary of Thomas Holdings. You'll remain as manager, but under supervision. You can't. I can and I did. Patricia, that marketing job you've been coasting through? You start Monday in our PR department, entry level. Entry level. But I have 10 years of experience. No, you have 10 years of trading on our family name. Time to earn your own reputation. I turned to Mom. The charity board you chair. I'm now the primary donor. You'll maintain your position, but with new priorities focusing on tech education and entrepreneurship support. And me? Marcus asked quietly. You have 2 options. Option 1. You take the maintenance department job I offered, learn the business from the ground up, and earn a real position through merit. And option 2. You find somewhere else to live, somewhere not owned by Thomas Holdings. Good luck with that search. Silence fell over the table as they absorbed the new reality. Why now? Mom finally asked. Why reveal all this? Because Marcus's attempt to evict me proved that none of you have learned anything about judgment or value. You still measure worth by appearances rather than actions. I stood and walked to the windows. Look at this city. I own significant parts of it, but I still live in a regular apartment. I take the bus. I drive a Honda. Want to know why? They didn't respond. Because those things keep me connected to reality, to the people I serve, my tenants, my employees, my community. Things you forgot how to do long ago. So this is punishment? Patricia asked. No, this is opportunity. Real opportunity. Not the fake kind you've been coasting on. A chance to learn what it actually means to build something meaningful. The servers brought dessert. Simple apple pie from the diner on the ground floor. This pie, made by a tenant who's working her way through culinary school. The maintenance job I offered Marcus works directly with our AI systems team. Mom's charity board will help fund the next generation of tech entrepreneurs. I sat back down. Every role I've outlined for you has real potential for growth, but you'll have to earn it. No more shortcuts, no more trading on the family name. And if we refuse? Dad asked. I pulled up more documents on the screens. Then you'll need to refinance your properties through non-Thomas Holdings banks. And explain to your social circles why you can't access most of the luxury buildings in the city. Marcus stared at his pie. When do we start? Monday. All of you. Rodriguez will provide your new access credential.
Limited to your actual work areas.
No more master keys. And you? Mom asked. Will we see you? When you're ready. When you've learned enough to see me as I am, not as you assumed I was. As they filed out later that evening, I watched them on the security feeds. They looked smaller somehow, their artificial confidence stripped away. Rodriguez appeared at my side. The Honda is parked in the lobby, sir. As requested. Perfect. One last lesson for them to see on their way out. Through the cameras, I watched them pause at the sight of my old Honda, now restored to pristine condition, sitting proudly in the marble lobby. Some things, I murmured, are worth more than their price tag. 3 months into their rehabilitation, as Patricia had sarcastically dubbed it, the changes were becoming evident. I monitored their progress through weekly reports, security feeds, and the occasional personal observation. Marcus had surprised everyone by throwing himself into the maintenance role. His hands, once soft from office work, now bore the calluses of real labor. More importantly, his understanding of the building's integrated AI systems had caught the attention of our tech team. I watched through the security feed as he explained the basic maintenance protocols to a new hire, his former arrogance replaced by genuine enthusiasm. "Mr. Thomas," Rodriguez appeared at my office door. "Your father is requesting a meeting. Status: he's completed the basic construction management certification. First in his class." I nodded. "Send him up." Dad entered my office with none of his former bluster. The past 3 months had stripped away his facade, leaving something more authentic in its place. "The Henderson project audit is complete," he said, placing a tablet on my desk. "You were right. The previous management team was skimming funds. And your recommendation: full restructuring. I've identified key personnel who can be promoted from within, plus areas where we need fresh talent." He paused. "It's what you did here, isn't it? Built from the ground up instead of relying on established names." "Finally figuring it out, Dad." He looked out at the city, his perspective now informed by actual knowledge rather than presumption. "We were wrong about you. About everything." "Yes, you were, but that's not what matters now. What matters is what you're learning. The construction company, it can be saved. With proper management, yes. Are you ready to be that manager?" He straightened his shoulders, not with artificial pride this time, but with earned confidence. "I am." "Then it's yours to run, under Thomas Holdings' oversight, but with real autonomy." "Thank you, son. Don't thank me. You earned it." "That's the point." After he left, I checked on Patricia's progress. The security feed showed her in the PR department, handling a crisis with a skill I hadn't expected. Her designer clothes had been replaced by practical business wear, her former networking shortcuts replaced by actual relationship building. "Sir?" Rodriguez interrupted again. "Your mother is in the lobby. Something about the charity board. Show me." The lobby feed revealed Mom surrounded by a group of young tech students, enthusiastically explaining our entrepreneurship program. Her society friends were notably absent, replaced by people who actually needed the foundation's help. "Send her up too." Mom entered carrying a stack of program proposals. "Alex, these students, they remind me of you at that age. So much potential if someone just gives them a chance. Unlike what you gave me." She flinched but held her ground. "Yes, I'm trying to fix that now. Not just with you, but with them too." I reviewed her proposals. The programs were solid: practical tech education, startup funding, mentorship networks, everything I'd needed and never received from my family. "Approved," I said, signing the documents. "But Mom." "Yes, make sure they earn it. No shortcuts." "I understand." Now, as she left, Marcus's face appeared on my screen. A direct call from the maintenance department. "The new AI cooling system is showing some anomalies," he reported professionally. "Nothing critical, but I think the tech team should take a look." "You've learned the systems that well." "Had to. Can't fix what you don't understand." He paused. "Like family." I let that sink in. "Send me the diagnostic report." "And Marcus, good work." The surprised smile on his face was genuine, perhaps the first real expression I'd seen from him in years. Later that evening, I called them all to the penthouse again. This time they arrived together, through the front entrance. Their newly programmed key fobs worked smoothly. Earned access rather than assumed privilege. "Quarterly review time," I announced as they sat down. "Reports?" One by one they presented their progress. Dad's construction company reforms, Patricia's PR innovations, Mom's charity initiatives. Marcus's technical achievements, real accomplishments, not social posturing. Well, Marcus asked when they finished. Do we pass? You passed this quarter, I confirmed. But the real test is ongoing. What do you mean? Patricia asked. I pressed a button, revealing new documents on the wall screens. These are your new contracts. Real positions with real responsibility, if you want them. They studied the offers carefully, another change from their previous habit of assuming entitlement. These salaries, Mom began, are industry standard for the positions. No more, no less. You'll earn bonuses based on performance, just like any other employee. And the properties? Dad asked. Our homes remain under Thomas Holdings, but with standard leases. No more special treatment, good or bad. Marcus looked up from his contract. The maintenance position. It's not just maintenance, is it? Head of systems integration. I confirmed. You've learned every aspect of our AI infrastructure. Now you can help build its future. Why now? Patricia asked. Why offer this? I stood and walked to where the Honda was visible in the lobby below. Because you finally learned what that Honda represents. It's not about appearance or status. It's about building something real, understanding it from the ground up. We were such snobs, Mom said quietly. Yes, you were, but you're learning. That's why these offers are on the table. They signed the contracts, not hastily this time, but with careful consideration. As Rodriguez collected the documents, I had one final surprise. Follow me. I led them to the garage level, where my car collection was housed. But instead of stopping at the luxury vehicles, I took them to a special section. 5 restored Hondas sat gleaming under the lights, one for each of them. Your new company cars, I announced. A reminder of where we all started, and how far we can go if we remember the lessons. Not exactly status symbols, Patricia remarked, but without her former disdain. No, Marcus agreed, running his hand along the pristine finish. There's something better. They're real. As they examined their new vehicles, I watched my family, really watched them. The artificial polish was gone, replaced by genuine substance. They had earned these positions, these responsibilities, these simple cars that represented so much more than transportation. Monday morning, I said as they prepared to leave. Regular employee entrance, regular parking spots, regular responsibilities. Nothing regular about this family anymore. Mom observed. No, I agreed. We're finally something better. We're authentic. 1 year later, I stood in my penthouse office, watching the sunset reflect off the buildings that had become our family's true legacy. Not because of ownership, but because of what we'd learned about value and authenticity. The quarterly company meeting had just ended, and for the first time, my family's presentations had drawn genuine applause, rather than polite acknowledgement. Marcus's AI integration systems had revolutionized building management across the city. He still worked hands-on with maintenance teams, his Honda parked proudly beside theirs in the service area. Patricia had transformed our PR department into an industry leader, focusing on real achievements rather than empty publicity. Her office walls, once planned for society photos, now displayed successful campaign metrics and team recognition awards. Dad had rebuilt the construction company from the ground up, creating a model of ethical management that other firms were struggling to copy. His Honda, often dusty from site visits, had become a symbol of hands-on leadership. Mom's charity foundation had funded 50 new tech startups, focusing on entrepreneurs who reminded her of the son she'd once dismissed. She drove her Honda to student mentoring sessions, the back seat usually filled with program materials. Mr. Thomas, Rodriguez interrupted my thoughts. They're waiting in the lobby. I checked the security feed. My family stood together, near the original Honda that had started this journey. Each of them changed in fundamental ways. Send them up. They entered my office not as entitled relatives, but as accomplished professionals who had earned their positions. The board approved all our proposals, Marcus reported, His maintenance uniform now complemented by a systems director badge. Full funding for the AI expansion. The PR campaign is ready, Patricia added, her designer handbag replaced by a practical laptop case. Real results, real stories. Construction teams are ahead of schedule, Dad said, construction dust still on his boots. Under budget too. And the foundation's first class is graduating. Mom finished, genuine pride in her voice. 3 of them already have job offers from Thomas Technologies. I nodded, then gestured to the wall of screens. Show me. One by one, they presented their achievements. No social posturing, no leveraging of the family name. Just solid work backed by genuine understanding. Remember last year? Marcus asked during a pause. When I tried to evict you. Hard to forget. I drove past that maintenance entrance today. The one you left open for me. Stopped to help a new hire understand the access protocols. Full circle, I observed. Better than that, Patricia interjected. We're writing a new story. All of us. Mom touched the window, looking out at the city. Your father and I, we drove our Hondas to the country club last week. Parked them right next to all those luxury cars. The valet was confused. Dad chuckled, until he saw our business cards. Status isn't about what you drive, I reminded them. It's about what you build. They finished in unison. I smiled. Finally learned that lesson. Have you? Along with many others, Marcus acknowledged. Though I still can't believe you let me keep trying my key fob at every entrance that day. Sometimes the best lessons take time and patience, Mom added, like you had with us. I walked to my private garage entrance. Speaking of lessons, follow me. The garage lights illuminated our row of Hondas, each one maintained as meticulously as the luxury vehicles surrounding them. 1 year ago, these cars were a punishment, I said. What are they now? A reminder, Marcus answered immediately, of what real success looks like. A symbol, Patricia added, of substance over show. A legacy, Dad contributed, of building something meaningful. A future, Mom finished, for the next generation to learn from. I nodded to Rodriguez, who unveiled a 6th Honda, this one restored to showroom perfection. For the foundation's top graduate, I explained, along with a junior position in Marcus's department, starting in maintenance. Marcus asked with a knowing smile. Of course, some lessons need to be learned from the ground up. As we stood there, surrounded by the mix of luxury and humility that now defined our family, I thought about the journey. From attempted eviction to earned respect, from artificial status to genuine achievement. The Honda stays, I announced. All of them. As long as we remember what they represent. We remember, they assured me, and this time, I believed them. Because success isn't measured in car brands or building ownership. It's measured in the lessons we learn, the understanding we gain, and the legacy we build, one Honda at a time.